We are attempting to solve the issue of inflating prices on imported technology due to the tariffs and the trade war. We will provide companies that move their manufacturing headquarters to different countries with subsidies and payments for all employees. These subsidies act as an incentive for companies to go to different places for manufacturing while allowing the prices of technology to be the same. Funding for subsidies will come through the legalization of marijuana and a heavy tax. The tax rate on marijuana will be approximately 11%. The tax will provide enough funding for all the tech giants to move their headquarters to different countries. The tax effectively balances out the economy. All the money received from the tax will go directly into subsidies for the companies. These subsidies should be enough for each company to recover the money lost due to the moving process. The workers in those companies will also need to be moved or fired, in which case the money will be sent out to the new employees of the company. This plan may have a detrimental effect on job availability in China, but will have the opposite effect in the United States. If companies move manufacturing to the United States, there is an even larger amount of money as an incentive. However, we don't expect many countries to choose this option due to the fact that they are in China, and China means cheap manufacturing. If they were to come to the United States, then the manufacturing factories will be significantly more expensive. Since there is no effective way to solve the trade war instantaneously, we believe that our solution will have the most profound effect in helping the economy.
China and the United States have been engaged in a trade war for almost 2 years. The United States imposes tariffs on imports from China. Companies have to inflate prices because the tariffs are going up. Inflation in all tech-related items causes disruptions in the market. Less people are buying new technology due to excessively inflated prices. Production that usually happens in China for cheap requires manufacturers to pay a high tariff, adding to the total cost of the product so that the profit gain isn't lowered for the manufacturer. High tariffs can be avoided by way of moving the company's head operating areas to other countries. The U.S. implemented a 25% tariff on July 6, 2018 on Chinese imports that had amounted to $34 billion in 2017 and is planning to impose the 25% tariff on additional Chinese imports worth $16 billion on August 23, 2018. These taxes are fairly high and only serve the purpose of creating even more bitter relations between the U.S. and China. China and the United States are arguably the biggest economic powerhouses. Analysts suspect that all technology that has parts manufactured in China will have a significant price hike in the future if preventative steps are not taken. China is arguably the biggest supplier of goods to the United States. This trade war is creating bad relations between the two powerhouses and creating an even larger gap between them. It is important for the two giants to try to keep up good relations for the security and stability of the world's economy. Trump's impending threat of a high tariff can be devastating to the economies of both the United States and China. China may be better off than the United States due to them not being as dependent. The United States has most, if not all, of their products manufactured in China, which means that the United States would take a much bigger hit. A study done on the trade war showed that while there would be an increase in production and a reduction of the U.S. trade deficit in both scenarios, something that President Trump had pursued, the greater protectionism would lead to a loss of welfare due to a worse allocation of productive resources in the U.S. economy. We are looking to solve the problem of the technology companies hiking their prices due to the trading ban. We will achieve this through subsidies for the companies that will move their manufacturing headquarters to different countries, including the United States. All employers will receive payment for moving their headquarters. The main issue potentially caused by this proposal is it simply does not solve all the trade issues with China. Chinese companies looking to sell their products in the United States will still be negatively impacted by the high tariffs, and opponents may say the plan could actually make the relations between the US and China even worse. Additionally, companies will likely fear they will lose money due to moving being expensive. As a result, some companies may elect to not move at all. Companies that choose to attempt to move regardless may not recover all the money and may have to temporarily inflate prices to cover moving expenses. However, these are not even close to being big issues. The plan does not include any actual changes to the current tariffs on goods imported from China. Once the moving of companies is finished and the U.S. economy has stabilized and improved, the tariffs on goods from China could possibly even be lowered someday, potentially improving relations with China overall. Companies should not fear they will lose money or not be able to afford the move, as the marijuana tax, after its legalization, will generate a large amount of money. Even if companies do need to temporarily inflate prices, the economy should stabilize itself eventually. Not to mention, if Trump did end up increasing the tariffs on goods imported from China, as explained previously, instead of putting this plan into action, the prices would definitely be raised by companies to compensate, and this would further anger China. The proposed plan is the most optimal choice for the future of America overall.